So first of all, how did you get into breaking? What got you inspired?
My freshman, sophomore year in high school, where I was actually in front of a circle, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Like, um, it just blew my mind, and that's it. I just wanted to do it. I saw some guys that is just in school doing it, and I'm sure like most of us, it just caught my eye, and I said, "Yo, I like this. Let's do it."
How old were you at the time?
I was I was pretty old, man. I was like 15, 16. Yeah. So I wish I could have born in this generation, just because kids nowadays, I've seen 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds. But I'm glad I started when I started and how I started, the hard way.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
What inspired you to take your craft serious and become the beast that you are?
No, I'm not quite the beast, man. But you know what? It's just like everything. It started off as a hobby. This is cool. This is fun. I had my local legends. The guys that were already like citywide or school wide. And then you start hanging out with them. You start networking, and obviously, in order for you to hang out with them, you had to like prove worthy enough to be able to hang out with them. At least that's how it was in my hood, where in my city where I came from. And I just, you start building relationships, you network, you see people from other cities, other counties, other states. And then it got a little serious, like, oh, like, yo, this is more than just like the kids in my high school now. This is, county-wide, this is statewide, this is nationwide. And of course, obviously, this is before the internet, before YouTube. So when you saw somebody else from another city, you were like, it's like seeing an alien, like, yo, what's your name? Where do you come from? You're like, who does it in your city, in your state? It was just a thrill to meet somebody that was doing the same thing we wanted to do. But at the same time, it was always, at least in Cali or in the States, it was always territorial. Like in the early 90s, I mean, late 90s, early 2000s, it was like, oh, here comes the Texas guys. Here comes the Florida guys. It was territorial. You want to be the you didn't want nobody messing with you, man. You can't go back to your hood, your friends, and be like, oh, you got smoke. Nah. So once I started seeing how like big it was, then I started noticing the big names, big names from when I was coming up. At that time was like Little Rock, which was also in the same kind of the same city, same hood. Easy Rock, Kuski, guys that had already been around. They were already down with Rocksteady. I think at Little Rock was already winning pro-ams I mean, back then pro was it was a big thing. And nothing. I just like in anywhere else, I wanted to rank up. I just wanted to rank up. I didn't want to be it wasn't a hobby no more. It wasn't like, oh, this is cool, this is trendy, I like this. It was more like, no, I want this shit to be mine. Like, I don't want to be just the kid from my city or my county. And yeah, that was just me. I just wanted to be the best. And the same thing, I think what worked out well for me is that I understood that there's a like a pyramid, and you're like, all right, who's on top of me? It's like, oh, this guy. Who's after that? This guy. Just keep going down the list until you rank up, man. You want to be the best. It's just like in the when you go, when you go to jail, when you go to army, when you go to a job, you want to be the best. It became more than like, oh, this is cool, it's fun, it's hip hop, I like it. Like, nah, I was like, fuck that. I want to be like Easy Rock. I want to be like Ivan. I want to be like big names that used to just tear it up. I mean, sometimes you didn't even have to see them dance. Just their presence was like, when you saw them just come in the jam, you was like, oh, people talk about them like, yo, there goes that guy, there goes so and so, there goes so and so, and I was like, I didn't know anybody. It's like, who are they? And then you would see them in the ciphers, and I would always get shocked by Easy Rock and Ivan or Flow Rock, because these guys would just come and destroy in a circle and just destroy it with top rock, with some footwork, some simple, just their style, their character, their persona, how they, just the presence. And I was like, holy fuck. And at that time, I was still like, people don't know, I was a big Powerhead. Flares, air flares, I wore air flares, elbow pads, helmet, you name it. It was horrible. But then when I seen these guys, I was like, yo, these guys are killing it without any power moves, without just boom, boom, top rock, hit the beat, boom, boom, pop. And I was like, oh shit, like, yo, like that's the real deal. And that just blew my mind. After that, I was like, all right, I just got to work my way up, just like in Mortal Kombat or like whatever. You just, who's next? Who's next? Who's on top of you? Who's on top of you till you get to the top? That was my way of approaching things, you know?
Hell yeah. That change from doing more power and tricks from before into being one of the nastiest all around it and straight out footwork head too. What was it that made it? Was it just seeing these guys, or was there like a specific battle? Was there somebody who dissed you, or what made that that's a big transformation. That's a huge realization too. What made that happen?
What made that happen was noticing how limited I was. I was limited because if I think people, like I said, Easy Rock could battle Cruz by himself with footwork, with power, with tops, with whatever. Same thing with Ivan. Little Rock had quite some power too, and I like to say that I was really good at power because I was doing air flare combinations, you know, late 90s, late 90s, and I say I was doing pretty good at power, and it just kind of bothered me, and it was an eye opener that I was very limited, because if I wanted to step up to somebody that was on top of me and they were like a well-rounded and I only had power, I was like, all right, buddy, there's only so much power that power can give you or take you. And then I was like, holy, how is this guy Roxray doing it with this power and his footwork? How is this guy Flow Rock just so well known and rounded worldwide, because his footwork was powerful as shit? How is he? I was like, okay, well, shoot, I gotta get the footwork too. It's just another element. And then I had both. I liked this so much that I didn't want to be limited. And a lot of people close their minds, and I tell people, well, at least the way I was taught is like, master your footwork, master your tops, master your power, master all the elements that you do, so that you're not limited. And a lot of people limit themselves because I think they don't have a clear idea what they want to do. Because if some people want to join a competition, they know that if they master the power and the tricks, they're probably going to win, you know, especially if they join a power competition or a footwork competition. But I was brought into this because I wanted to be the best, just period. If not, get with the best, run with the best, and get the respect from the best. So when I would meet people, like at that point, to me, Big Time was like, you know, I would meet Nez, Wiggles, like a lot of these people that already like that had been, I mean, they're big boys. I was like, I want their respect. I want Kenny's respect. I want so and so's respect. And I couldn't just get that respect with just with some flares and 90s, you know. I wanted to be well-rounded, and I hated being limited. I don't want to be limited to just what I did, you know. So that was just my idea behind it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it, like, you think you're the shit until you see somebody like Easy Rock. Like,
yeah,
that's the truth.
They make you realize how limited you are. And even sometimes you got to know, once you master those crafts, you have to know how to put them together and when to put them together, like when to throw them out. Like, you know, a lot of people throw their powers on you know, during the chorus of a song, or just then it gets more detailed and stuff, you know, the delivery gets more detailed. But yeah.
early 2000s, 2003, I think was the year when some of my crewmates came to the summit, Bboy Summit
Right.
in Cali, and once they returned, they said like, listen up, focus. Everybody was dope, but there was this kid called T-Rock, and he couldn't be messed with as far as battle skills too, like not just footwork, not just hops, but straight up battle skills. How
Yeah,
would
the
you
cipher joints.
Yeah, how would you determine like your mindset entering something like a B-Boy Summit footwork battle, 03, 04, or anything like this?
Well, like I said, I knew I was good at power. I knew most people couldn't mess with me at power, but at that time, you know. Um, and then I was like, all right, I know they can't really mess with me at power. Shit, let me get to the next level so people won't be able to mess with me with the footwork. Um, and I decided to enter those jams just because it was like the biggest jam around, or competition, if they call it now. I still see it as a jam because it's something, it was more of a jam. Um, I just wanted to knock some heads out. I was hungry for respect. I was hungry to climb up the ladder, and not for name, not for competition. Because remember, back then there was no internet, no videos. It was just getting the respect from people you saw and they were up there, and you had to, because as you know, the kids from Texas against the kids from Florida, the kids from New York at that point, early 2000, Massive Monkeys is up there. You're not going to catch them again till like the next year or the following year. Or who knows? So I was like, nope, I got to get them right now. I got to get them. Otherwise, this is my chance. Otherwise, and I did a good job. And then I think I did a good job. And then word of mouth gets around, and if some people had some money and they had a camcorder, that tape goes to Europe and Asia, and then next year, like you said, next year they come back to the summit and be like, yo, we heard, or we seen about this kid named so and so and so and so and so and so. But that time, you got to make sure you're ready, because they're gonna come after you, you know. And I wanted to enter the summit because the first year I lost bad too, and I have that footage too. I lost bad to it was like a 4-way battle. It was Dizzy, and I think it was Tim the Pit, and this guy named David Colas from France. And yeah, he won. I didn't want to lose after that.
They're the biggest teachers, right?
It's
That's the
not a
biggest
good feeling
teachers
to lose.
when you lose. Come back for more. And maybe
Yeah.
that's maybe one of the reasons why footwork became so powerful too. You had the power from the past. So once you started working with footwork, that was automatically the momentum was there.
Yeah.
Did you have
I
any
mean,
ways of becoming original too? Like, did you have any methods on creating? Because you had a lot of original steps on top of the foundation too. How did you create?
um, well, I was fortunate enough to be around well-rounded friends, mentors. Um, I was fortunate to be around Easy Rock, Kuski. People don't know Little Rock had, at that, when he was in Rocksteady, he had dope footwork. People don't know that. Um, I was fortunate enough to be around them, but um my first real footwork teacher, the guy that sat me down and said, "Hey, look, this is a 6-step, this is a 4-step, this is 3-step." A guy named Yoski. He was down with Rocksteady in the mid early 90s. You see a few clips of him when Rocksteady battled Stout Elements in San Diego at the first or second B-Boy Summit, something like that. He was the one that actually put me on game. And I just learned the basics, 4-step, 3 steps, regular good old footwork foundation. And it wasn't until Summit, real quick story, real quick. It wasn't until Summit 2000, I rolled up there with Kuski. And by that point, Kuski, Easy Rock, and Frosty Freeze, and they were with Flow Rock. And they're like, oh, you know, T-Rock, Frosty, Floor Rock, whatever. We met them, we chilling. And by that point, I think I had my foundation pretty well, both directions, 6-step, 3-step, 4-step, etc. And then um, I was trying to switch it up and come up with things and stuff, you know, whether you want to call it innovate, manipulate, evolve, whatever word you want to choose. I did my interpretation of the one leg footwork, right? Or one leg 6-step, one leg footwork. I'm afraid to call it different names, man, because some people are gonna jump out and be like, "That's not what it's called." But dude, Floor Rock jumped out, and Floor Rock had been doing the one leg footwork for, I don't know. I seen him in 90. I seen him like in 96, 97 doing it already. Man, focus. I don't think I've ever been so humiliated and embarrassed in my life, especially Floor Rock. That fucking guy, you don't want to fuck with him, you know? And I was just learning coming up in the footwork, man. I did it. It was just cheesy, corny. You can tell I was just learning the 6-step with the one leg. Man, he jumped out and just, dude, he sizzled me, roasted me. And after that, he was in my face. He was like, yo, that's my move. Let me do my move. He just let me have it. And I'm rolling with Kuski and Frosty and Easy. And it wasn't like they were going to defend me. They were actually just laughing. Like, T-Rock, because in our days, we didn't, if you were whack and you got caught slipping, that's it, you know? And I was all bumped out. My head got all small, and they was like, yo, just take it from them. Innovate it, evolve it, interpret it different. And I was like, well, how do you change like the foundation? I thought that foundation was set. You're limited. That's the foundation and that's it. And yo, bro, he's like, well, do it better than him. I started doing it one leg both ways, the other leg both ways, one hand one way, the other hand the other way, one leg, one hand, you know. I just started, I gotta be careful with the words here. I started manipulating or innovating or interpreting just different things and put them all together. So when people saw me again doing it, I didn't want to be limited and I didn't want to go through that feeling again. And yeah, man, I just started mixing, doing once I knew that from the foundation. A lot of people think that once that foundation, that's it. You have to do that forward that way and that's it. And it's like, no, man, that foundation you can build up as you want. So that's kind of where I needed to get that quick roasting so I can open up a canvas in my head, you know?
Oh yeah. And I feel a lot of that manipulating, like you say, or evolving, or that evolution became pretty universal. You see the one-headed stuff all over the world right now in 2021.
Yeah.
How do you feel
Yeah.
about the scene in today's perspective? It's a lot different than what it was from the summit days, right? So how do you feel about the scene in 2021?
I mean, it'd be selfish for me to say that I don't like it, because I honestly don't like it and I don't feel anything for it, you know, because it's not my cup of tea anymore. My time has come and gone. I love the dance. I love watching people dance, but I just think that it's going in so many different directions, which doesn't mean it's bad or it's good. It's just like you said, like I was saying earlier, people can take their direction and they can go in whichever direction they want. They want to be considered an athlete and, you know, get sponsored by Gatorade or whatever. Oh, good. Go for it. Go get it. If you want to be a raw dog killer in the ciphers at small jams, local jams, big jams, go for it. I think people limit themselves and people think let the scene dictate what they should be doing, when I think it should be the other way around. Like I said, from my experience, I said I want to be the best and not limited and the ciphers and the circles, and I wanted the respect from the OGs, the innovators, the pioneers, the legends. That was my goal. If somebody nowadays wants to be the best athlete or Olympic gold medalist, go for it, man. Don't stop. Somebody wants to be the top dog in the ciphers, go for it. You shouldn't stop. The scene, I think, is too big to try to control, and a lot of stuff is categorized. But I'm sure a lot of promoters, I mean, poor guys, half of the room is gonna want something, half of the other room is gonna want another thing. Like I said, it's not my cup of tea from when we came up, but that's not for us no more. I think it's for the younger generation, or the current or future generation. But I mean, I hope it keeps going. I hope it keeps going. And there's always going to be the raw dog guys in the ciphers. There's always going to be your stage competitors. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. People can do what they want, but you got to be careful when you call yourself a b-boy, a breaker, or a competitor, or an athlete, because if you step up to like some of my peers or a guy like me that say, yeah, I'm a b-boy, catch me in the cipher, man, homie, you better be ready, man. You step to a guy like Little John or Tim the Pit in the cipher, you better come with like 20, 40 rounds. But if you say, hey, I'm a competitor and an Olympic gold medalist, hey, keep going, man. Get that money, man. Do it. But I think they need to know how to differentiate the competitor, the b-boy, the cipher guy, because a lot of competitors want the respect from the cipher guys. Nah, it's not.
Different game.
It's not. You're not gonna get it. So that's what I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you saying that you still love the dance and enjoy the dance? I see some garage sessions with Polsky here and there. And you say you got flying out to Mexico to a jam in a couple of days too. How is T-Rock in 2021?
T-Rock in 2021 is just a spectator, a lover of the dance. It's my first and only baby, my first crush. I'm gonna love it, and oddly enough, it's weird because I love it and I do it to stay in shape, just because I just love it. You can't leave it. It doesn't matter what you say. Oh, I've been there for 30 years. I'm uninspired. Blah blah blah. Nah, that's BS. But you still love it, and you do it when you can. In my career, I'm perfectly happy and satisfied with what I did, because I did what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the best at what I did, get the respect from the elders. I think I did a good job at that. But it's now in 2021. I'm just a spectator. You know, it's for the younger ones. I love watching the little kids dance. It's fucking amazing. Some of those kids are doing shit that, holy smoke, that we never got to do. But yeah, like I said, just a spectator. I love to pop into jams and just see what's going on, you know, get a little reminiscent. But at the same time, I stay away from it. I stay away from the dance as much as I can. Sounds a little weird and contradicting, because when I get around it, or excuse me, or I get too involved, that lights up my ego, you know? That lights up the mentality. Is like, man, I got these kids. These kids are whack. I can get them. But my body tells me a different thing. You know, my ego turns on and says all kinds of things, but my body tells me like, nah, chill, T-Rock. Stay on your spectator seat, man. Stay in your lane. But yeah, man. And like I said, it has nothing to do with age. It's just my lifestyle it's just everybody has a different lifestyle. But I see you and another guys my generation older still doing it, man. I love seeing that, because that's like the little bit of the essence of reminiscing that we have from people that we see. So when I see you, Poe, Wicked, you know, a lot of these guys, I'm like, oh man, I hope you can still keep going for another 10, 20 years, you know?
Hope so too. And I think that's everything as far as the questions. Big respect for your contribution and influence, inspiration. Thank you so much for the time.